Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into Prime Target, Season 1, Episode 6. This episode is packed with action, bad decisions, and a whole lot of frustration.
Let's break it down step by step.
If you haven't watched it yet, be warned, there's spoilers ahead. We kick things off in Paris, where Taylor and Ed are still on the run. With the NSA tracking them, they know that public transport is a no-go. Their only option? A motorbike. But the NSA isn't far behind. They're tracking Taylor's phone, suspecting she might have gone rogue. Taylor is one step ahead. She knows she's being tracked, so she hands her phone to a guy named Matisse at a bike shop. He takes off in a different direction, sending the NSA agents on a wild goose chase. Meanwhile, Taylor and Ed head to a museum, hoping to find what they're looking for. At the museum, Ed charms the receptionist into letting them check a few artifacts. The problem? There are 12 pieces, but with the museum closing, they only get to see a couple. And none of them seem to be the right ones. Later that night, Ed is tempted to message Adam, his phone buzzing with unread messages. But Taylor stops him. Using his phone would give away their location. This leads to a heartfelt conversation. Taylor is haunted by the past, especially the car crash that killed her brother. She blames herself, believing she deserves punishment. Despite her warning, Ed makes the mistake of using his phone. The NSA immediately gets a ping and starts tracking them down. Meanwhile, Taylor and Ed discover that the museum artifacts have been loaned out overnight to a private collector, Bogdan. That's their next lead. Even though Taylor is supposedly on the run, she easily logs into the NSA system. No alerts, no red flags, nothing. Convenient, right? She finds out that Bogdan's collection is heading to the UK. Their next move? Steal the piece from his van before it crosses the border. Andrew, Taylor's superior, is furious. He warns Jane that Ed Brooks is key to everything and they can't let him slip away. Jane steps up the search and eventually tracks Bogdan. His van is on the Channel Tunnel train. That's where the action is about to go down. Ed and Taylor manage to get on board. Just as they do, Jane calls Ed, demanding to speak with Taylor. She warns her that Bogdan is extremely dangerous. But does Taylor listen? Of course not. Instead, she ignores Jane and cuts the security feed on the train. Taylor stages an emergency to clear out the train. With the place empty, she picks the lock to Bogdan's van. Just as Ed starts checking the artifacts, Bogdan returns. Ed barely escapes, hopping onto a relief train at the last second. Reunited, Ed confronts Taylor. He knows she's been hiding something since Baghdad. Finally, she admits it, she needed time to figure things out. But everything she's done has been to protect him. Ed, frustrated and feeling betrayed, walks away. Little does he know, he's walking straight into more danger. Meanwhile, Jane reaches out to Taylor once again. This time, she insists they need to have a serious talk. This episode was a mess. From start to finish, it was filled with bad decisions, plot holes, and questionable logic. First, let's talk about Ed. He knows they're being tracked, yet he still uses his phone. And Taylor never warns him?
Come on.
Then we have Taylor logging into the NSA system with zero issues. Shouldn't they have locked her out the moment she went rogue? And the whole plan? Avoid train stations because they'll get caught, but somehow the Channel Tunnel, one of the busiest international transport hubs, is totally fine? The episode also leans hard into cliches. Ed is the classic guy who's the key to everything. And Taylor? She's the brooding hero who pushes people away because of her guilt. But worst of all, the pacing. For a thriller, this episode was surprisingly boring. The action felt forced, the tension was weak, and the logic holes made it hard to stay invested. So, what do you think? Is Prime Target living up to expectations? Or is it falling apart? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more episode recaps.
See you next time.